headstone here is to Reverend Daniel and Reverend Bartholomew Neville. They were originally from Bandon, and they were priests that ministered here during the penal laws. And even when I was a young lad going to school here, they were still in folk memory, their memory, and they said that Daniel said hell wasn't half as hard as Bartholomew preached it to be. So it's a place that people come and pray, and they have great affection for this grave. Behind us is the ruins of the old minister's house. We're in the townland of Glebe, which means church lands, and this house was burnt during the War of Independence. It was idle at the time. They were afraid that it would be used as a military barracks. The house was used by Daniel Corkery and Terence McSweeney for meetings with the Republican group locally during the War of Independence. Here we have a plaque to Mike O'Leary, who won the Victoria Cross in World War I. He was from the parish, and he was awarded this for bravery on the field in Belgium in 1915. We have 3 reburials here in the churchyard. There's one here, Cecil Guthrie, who was shot the day of Kilmichael ambush, and he was buried for about 4 years in Kilmichael in Anahala, and the body was brought here for reburial. The other one was James Mead, a local innocent man who was shot during the War of Independence, and Smith, the Crown Forces man who died at Camanee. So we've got a trail running through the churchyard here, and the man in the middle of the sign here is an imagined view of what Captain Cato O'Leary would have worn as a member of the Irish Wild Geese. There's a representation of what a medieval chieftain of the O'Learys would be like, and wearing the hooded cloak here would be Mara B. O'Leary or Maureen O'Reilly.
Dear thoughts are in my mind, and my soul soars enchanted as I hear the sweet lark sing in the clear air of the day. For a tender beaming smile to my hope has been granted, and tomorrow she shall hear what my fond heart might say. I shall tell her of my love, all my soul's elation, and I know she will hear me and will not say me nay. It is this that gives my soul all its joyous elation, as I hear the sweet lark sing in the clear air of the day.
So we're at Carrignacurra Castle, and I'm very glad to meet Tony, who's doing the archaeology here at Carrignacurra, and we have a lot of evidence of his work here, because right in front of us you were explaining to me that these are limestone, whereas the others are red sandstone, and more than likely they came off
the original,
off
the
the
castle,
off the building, And these limestone, you said, might be capping stones.
Window jambs. They're partially, they're only worked on 1 or 2 sides, and there would have been the vertical jambs on the windows.
Yeah.
And they were found in these piles of stones, all came from the stable house, and were brought up here in a previous attempt of restoration. And these were brought up, but they probably came originally from the castle, had been robbed and used in the stable house, and were brought here.
You were saying earlier on that there would want to have been a substantial quarry for the
Yeah,
stone that built the castle, and there is nothing evident locally. So maybe where we're standing could have been quite a higher rock formation.
Yeah, that was cut down.
Cut down
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole area here is all gravel, so we're in a big gravel floodplain, and this is just an isolated rock outcrop, standing proud of that. And there's nowhere obvious for all this stone to have come from.
And we're right on the bank of the River Lee, which is here just within 5 yards of us, really.
Yeah.
And it would be, the name Carrignacurra means the rock of the rapids, but it's a fording place of the river as well.
Yeah.
So I suppose the river bed itself too could be the source of some.
It could be, yeah. But again, it is mostly gravel here, so I think they could have well have cut the face of this rock away to get the building stone for the castle. And this is quite a very strategic point then, covering, as Joe said, covering the crossing place of the river and the main road then to Macroom. And if I'm right, the Norman influence was coming more from the east, from Cork City, from Macroom, and then you had the McCarthys further south, and the O'Learys who were here is sort of more of a border.
They were a little landlocked, landlocked clan, and it was a complete sort of a mystery. Not a mystery really. It's just the landscape kind of defined them, that they were in this upper section of the River Lee, and the O'Learys were a very small clan, subservient to the McCarthys, but because of their smallness and the fact that they operated in the Celtic system of clan leader and so on that had to be elected, a lot of historians really like to study them because the situation is so small that it's to me, and from my love of history, I love the idea that you can grasp them much easier, say, than the McCarthys, which you have to go all over County Cork to do. Whereas here you're in more or less in a 20 square mile area.
And it was a very isolated area as well, blocked by Gugan and the very marshy lands to the west.
And the Gaira to the east. And that really you'd have to, there'd only be bridle tracks coming into the park here. But the McCarthys were clever. They kept some piece of ground near Ochras that still stayed on their hands, so that it gave them rights to come through Evelary.
Across the land,
But this is the first of 3 castles. And there is a debate about the design and the date of the castle itself. It is commonly believed that it was maybe around 1550. This is what a lot of the guidebooks say. It was built around that time, but you're discovering things that might bring the date further into an earlier, or rather back into an earlier date. Tony's involved in the survey that is going to lead to work starting here. We are now in the month of June, so hopefully by next February 2021, scaffolding will be going up and the project will get underway. So
and before the building can commence, we have to do a limited excavation then around the exterior of the castle. And at the moment I'm just digging test trenches, small test trenches to give me an idea of what's actually going to be there when the full excavation starts. It's one of the conditions of the planning which Tom and Sean have received for the castle.
So we'll be meeting Tom Carlston at a later interview, but he was very keen that we would meet Tony today and we had a little talk about it. Some of the stones you were saying were river stones that were used from the top of the castle as sort of weapons.
Yeah, one of the few things we've found so far have been piles of these spreads of these large river pebbles within the topsoil, just mainly on the south side of the castle. And we were wondering what they were there, and first I thought maybe they were for mauls, for chipping the stones a bit. But another idea is they could have been kept, you would have had piles of them on the battlements, and they would have been very effective weapons. I mean, we all know the muskets which they would have been using at that time. But if you ran out of bullets or you didn't have lead shot and you would want something quick, then a large river pebble thrown from the top of the castle would have been a very effective weapon really. And it might have been something that women and children could have even have done up there, you know, if things were desperate. They could have been throwing these stones down. And so the main idea of why the castle is of a later date are the musket routes in the castle, and the musket only came in the later 16th century. And unfortunately we can't see any on this side, they're mostly on the other side. But they're also in the end of this angle bastion here, which we think is probably a later feature added onto the castle.